We have no clue how this season is going to pan out for Arsenal Football Club, but so far, so good. We're getting points on the board. We're still unbeaten this season. Yet, some Arsenal fans are still moaning. I mean, football fans and Arsenal fans are no different. There's always something to moan about. Now, the vast majority of noise surrounding Riccardo Calafiori is positive. You're seeing his performances. It's very easy to forget, despite the season just really starting, that he just signed for us essentially. Such has been and the impact he's made and how good he's fitted in with the bunch of lads he's working with. There seems to be a lot of talk in some quarters regarding Calafiori, people. As I said, the man's been good for Arsenal. At only 22 years of age, his stocks are continuously rising owing to what he did at his previous club during the Euros and currently at Arsenal Football Club. There's so much to like about him, whether it's his mentality, whether it's his attitude, whether it's his competencies in that inverted role. You see him pop up all over the field, whether it's that developing partnership you're now seeing with Martinelli, and you're now seeing Martinelli get goals and assists, and we're now solidifying that left-hand side or having some long-term options. Throw Mikel Moreno over there, and we really and truly might be cooking. As I said, the young man, again, very easy to forget he's 22 years of age. Stock is rising, people. But there seems to be a problem in some Arsenal quarters with him on a football pitch. Stick until the end to find out exactly what I'm referring to. The man's been a revelation. He's fitted seamlessly into our 11. You know, his introduction to seeing Martinelli's fortunes change. Amongst all the things I could talk about with him from a footballing basis, I like the fact that, pardon my language, he's a shithouser, he's a rattler. We need players that are a bit nasty. We've really got an Italian defender with immense potential, people, and I love what I'm seeing from him, people. If I was to say there would be a problem, it would probably be minor, minuscule aspects in relation to his defending. You know, if you see on screen now, you'll see, you know, me attempt to kind of take you back in time with the Leicester goal for James Justin. Now, again, the defending for the whole team was poor. The whole defense was disjointed. But for the man who's, you know, the topic of this video and what Calafiori could have done better, for me, he needs to look over his shoulder. He's completely unaware of James Justin. You go back a few weeks where he scored an absolute screamer against Manchester City, and you look at when Salvinho turned him. I know football fans, you know, football fans think defenders never get turned. Potentially, he could have been told tactically to sit off Salvinho, which I'm not privy to because I don't know Mikel Arteta. For what I saw with my eyes, I think he's got to get tighter, make it more difficult for Salvinho to go onto his left foot, people. These are the minor things I believe he could improve. Again, the man's 22. But despite that, does this really warrant people crying for a man that's been at the club a matter of months, people? I'm not too sure. I've seen some fans, mainly on social media, refer to the guy as the Italian Zinchenko, which is just plain wrong. He's better than him, in my opinion. And I mean, when you look at the statistics and you marry that with the eye test and what we're seeing on a football pitch, for me, there's no need to panic, people. I think his passing metrics are quite good. I think, you know, his passing metrics actually suggest we've only just touched the surface of his array of passing, people. And when you look at his passing volume and completion, it further reflects that he's marrying both the inverted role that Mikel Arteta demands of him and also somewhat the traditional left back role of overlapping, providing more versatility on that left hand side for someone like Martinelli, who's quite static on the left hand side, to, you know, to get into the game more and be able to get into more difficult and dangerous areas for the opposition. I love the guy, man. You know, we're getting much more from him than we would have hoped for, people. I'm sure Mikel Arteta would agree, you know. And again, you look at it, he's not actually turning the ball over to the opposition as well. So he's doing well to find chances to progress the ball when the ball is actually at his feet. So it's undoubtedly positive. Now, for those that have some sort of concerns about him defensively, all you got to do is look at his defensive stats in comparison to his fellow Premier League fullbacks at this moment in time. For tackles, for aerial duels, for accuracy in his passing percentages, he ranks first. Accurate passes into the final third, he's also first, which again shows his competency in the final third, you know. And then you look at his aerial duels, his deep completions, his accurate long passes and progressive passes, he also ranks quite well, despite the fact that he's only just starting, which, to go back to Martinelli, there has to be some correlation with Calafiori getting a sustained run in the side at left back and Martinelli's fortunes somewhat changing, people. Again, the statistics and the eyes, they're undoubtedly positive. For me, I think we've struck gold with this signing, and he has immense potential, and Arteta will help him realize that. Of course, at 22 years of age, you're not exactly young, but you're not exactly old. He's a spring chicken in defensive terms. How many defenders, if we, the Sol Campbells, the Rio Ferdinands, the Tony Adams, the Van Dijks, the list goes on. How many of them would have finished articles at 22 years of age? Find me one, and I'll hold my peace. I don't think there's some. I just think, in conclusion, people, there's some minor things that he can address, much like everyone in that Arsenal side, people. And I think he's good. And I think Mikel Arteta has shown he can develop several young players. But if there's one area, if you put under the microscope, in which Mikel Arteta has thrived, it has been developing defenders, people. Gabriel's got better year in, year out. Saliba's got better year in, year out, people. Benjamin White's improved. So what data is there to suggest that Calafiori would be no different? For me, I think the man's been a revelation. He's an Italian bulldozer. He's an Italian bull in a china shop. I love his mentality, his defensive willingness, him in the inverted role, and the fact that he's 22. And you look at our whole defensive depth options, we're laughing, people. I go as far as to say we've probably got the best defensive depth in world football. Or if we don't, and I'm exaggerating, we're definitely up there. So I'm happy with him. I think he's been a great signing. I think Mikel Arteta and all the recruitment staff, as well as obviously the individual, can all take, a good pat on the back, if I'm honest with you, because it feels like the guy's been here for years, honestly. Now, you all know I'm a Sunday League fullback, so I'm going to have a bias towards fullbacks anyways, but I don't think there's anything to panic about. I just think there's minor things that could be improved, and then we keep it moving from there. So yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Let me know your thoughts. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Big up you lot for tuning in. Peace. Always